Last year was a major learning curve for me with skincare, and I wanted to recap some of the mistakes that I'm not bringing with me this year. Hi everyone, my name is Alex. Today I'm going to be sharing some of my 2024 skincare mistakes that I did specifically more towards the beginning of the year, but I definitely did some of these all throughout the year, and I'm trying to listen to my skin in 2025 and set some New Year's resolutions that will prevent me from going through everything I went through. First of all, I'm so proud of my skin progress. There have been multiple factors that have gone into helping my skin get better, and a lot of those is acknowledging where I feel like I can correct and improve on some of my skincare habits, because habits are just as important as the products themselves. I feel like staying consistent, cleaning my space frequently, changing out pillowcases, many different things have impacted my skin and my overall skin appearance, because as you know, if you follow me for a while, acne has been a struggle of mine. It still is, but I'm doing some things to correct that. And so I wanted to recap some mistakes that I will not be carrying over this year. I feel like I used to be so caught up on over exfoliating my skin and using more actives, thinking that it was going to show better results with my acne and any skin concern that I was dealing with at the time. I've seen some people saying that more is better with skincare, and that's not a personal philosophy that I follow. I've always believed that more gentle approaches to skincare has worked better for my skin, just in my own execution. I'm not a skincare expert by any means, but what has personally worked for me is finding a routine where you are exfoliating your skin, but not too much. I started out doing it about once a week, and then I built up from there. This is, mind you, when I first started getting into skincare, but something that I don't think I've talked about enough is how you forget some things, and sometimes you go, oh, I can exfoliate every night. I can do this every night. Like, my skin can handle it. It's built up a tolerance to this. I can do it. But I feel like there's a time for that, and there's also a time where you just need to back off and don't do any actives that night. Don't do anything if your skin is stressed out. Over exfoliating has been in the past a #1 cause of my acne, and also a lot of redness and just irritated sensitive skin that I don't want to have this year. And I feel like last year I got very comfortable with my level of using skincare actives, and I would over exfoliate my skin, and you would see that with how reactive my skin was or with how red my skin was. I don't want to do that this year. And so I feel like staying consistent, but also leading me into the second point, I need to listen to my skin, and if I don't feel like my skin needs to use actives that night, then I shouldn't use them. This and over exfoliation kind of go together, but I've learned that skincare is a routine, but it also is depending on how your skin feels, your environment, whether it's hot or cold outside, where you are located, what is going on, are you stressed out, are you sleeping a lot? Skincare is very reactionary. It's very much what your skin is going through at the time, and you need to listen to that. I need to listen to that because I didn't last year. There were so many nights where I would get home, I'd be exhausted, my skin would just be extremely stressed out and broken out, and I wanted to treat those zits very quickly. I tried to over exfoliate my skin so much, and I would use actives when my skin was already stressed out. There are some nights where it's okay just to use barrier products. There were some nights where I didn't sleep a lot, where I didn't want to use a skincare active, but I just focused on rebuilding my skin's barrier. That is equally as important as using treatment actives in my personal experience. I've had some comments saying, why do you recommend using retinol once a week? Because that won't be an effective amount. And truly, everyone's effective amount is different, and there are some times where I have just backed off my retinol and used it once a week if my skin is really stressed out. Recently in the winter, I've been extremely dry, and I've been limiting the amount of actives that I use, but it's hard to find that balance between exfoliating enough and not over exfoliating. So it's definitely depending on your skin tolerance, but that's just something that I don't want to bring into this next year. I'm holding myself accountable and saying, listen, if you don't feel like using actives, if your skin is already red and irritated, or I've over exfoliated my skin, I don't need to keep doing that and keep on a pattern just because it is retinol night or just because it is exfoliation night. I think one of the biggest issues that I struggled with last year was remaining consistent, trusting the process, and understanding that results don't happen overnight. It's something that I keep having to remind myself, especially if I'm trying out a product and it breaks me out and I'm trying to combat those zits. Ultimately, there are multiple factors that go into it, but I've learned that remaining consistent and just trusting that your skin has to naturally go through its cycle is best in treating skin concerns. I try to shorten the life of breakouts. I will sometimes over dry my skin or get impatient and give up on skincare products if I'm not seeing instant benefits. That was something I really struggled with last year. Remaining consistent with a routine, but also listening to my skin has been the perfect middle ground for me to get my skin back on track. Ooh, one of the biggest issues that I struggled with, and I've always struggled with this. I look back, even when I was first getting into skincare, I would use products for extremely dry skin. And I was like, listen, my skin needs this. I'm gonna be anti-aging. I'm gonna be doing all of this stuff to be preventative. And I feel like that's kind of structured in our skincare society to be like, we need to be extra preventative of this, which there are great things you can do to be preventative. For instance, one of the things I'm really proud of is applying sunscreen every single day last year. That is something I am majorly proud of, but I feel like there is a limit with that and there is a balance with that. And one thing that I'm really integrating this year is not over moisturizing my skin. Even if my skin feels dry, there are some times where moisturizers don't provide an instant soothing benefit, and then I apply more, or I try to get that instant soothing benefit when really that was causing more breakouts and more acne because I was just layering on product after product, and it was so much. I really don't know what my thought process was behind that, but I've now balanced it out and gotten it more together. I moisturize my skin twice a day whenever I do my skincare routine. Sometimes in the winter I'll do it 3 times, but I really try not to layer on so many products like that because I have known that has been a leading cause of acne with me, at least. And it's really important to pick the right moisturizer, I think, that is, at least in my case with combination skin, perfectly balanced. I mean, when I tell you I was doing 3 hydrating serums, 2 moisturizers, and then an ointment on top of that. During the day, I was doing sunscreen. Like, there was a lot going on in my routine. I'm appreciating more of a minimalistic routine that focuses on meaningful products, and I will dissect that more in future videos. Changes season to season, but I feel like not over moisturizing my skin is going to be a really crucial part in my 2025 skincare goals. In the same realm of this, I feel like slugging is a skincare trend that I have tried really hard to make work for my skin all year round. And truthfully, there are products that I've kind of learned can be slugging products that you can finalize a moisturizer with. It doesn't always have to be Vaseline. I've noticed some gel creams work great for slugging, at least in my case. But in the winter, there are some times where I need a Vaseline product to lock in the moisture. I like it more in my drier areas where I am not as acne prone, but I tried slugging one time last year for a week straight, and I noticed little bumps coming up around my face, and it just wasn't working out the best for me with my acne prone skin. So I think being intentional with slugging and also picking which individual products I am personally going to slug with, depending on the season, depending on all of the factors that go into making my skin what it is. I feel like that is how I can be more intentional with my 2025 skincare routine, because trust me, I am a creature of habit. If I have something in a routine, I want to stick to that. I feel like being more intentional with when I do slug and when I do incorporate those style of products in my routine is important. important. There have been some nights, specifically when I went on vacation, I slugged every night and it was fine, but I was in a very dry climate. I'm very lucky to not live in an extremely dry climate, so I find that if I slug every night for a week, like I did that one time, it does cause breakouts, and it's okay to do something like just when my skin needs it. My final, and I think the biggest skincare mistake that I made last year was not treating the skin concerns that I had with the correct active ingredients. I forgot which dermatologist that I follow said this philosophy, but it has been ingrained in my head, which is pick 1 or 2 skincare actives that focus on the skincare goal that you are personally trying to accomplish. They have more multitasking and more simple products for a reason. The 2 actives that work amazing for me are Differin Gel and Azelaic Acid. Those paired together are amazing. Azelaic Acid is honestly something that I keep in my routine no matter what I'm treating, because redness and acne is something that I am just consistently battling with, and that is the best active for that. I want to be intentional with my skincare actives this year. If I'm struggling with dark spots, hyperpigmentation, I want to pick a couple of specific actives to be best for that. Now, that's not to say I don't use all actives. I do rotate it based on what my skin is going through in my fallback day-to-day routine, but primarily when I am dealing with acne and breakouts, I am focusing on just using those 2 actives because it's just what my skin needs. Don't overcomplicate your skincare routine. Like I said, they have multifaceted products that I feel like are great for people who have multiple skin concerns, but I would still keep it pretty simple around those complex formulas, because I found that the more I tried to overcomplicate my routine, the results were not showing the more consistent I would be. I feel like all of these mistakes kind of intertwine, and I'm very proud of how far I've come with my skin. I'm very happy of where I am right now with it, but it is a roller coaster. Acne is something that I've struggled with specifically more in my 20s, and I feel like it can be a roller coaster battle. Sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's bad. I never distort or filter my videos because I do try to promote a level of confidence with acne, but it is something I have to integrate in myself, and it can be difficult some days, but I still want to provide that transparency because I hope to be a step in at least one person rethinking how they feel about their acne. You don't have to conceal it, you don't have to be ashamed of it. It's just something that is a part of the process, but if it gives you more confidence to treat it, it is a consistent and slow journey, and you just have to be patient with that. That's something that I remind myself every day. I'm having to remind myself right now, so I wanted to tell you all that as well. I'm excited to see what 2025 is going to create with my skincare routine. I'm sure I will make mistakes along the way, but what's important is that we can reflect on them, look at them, and say, listen, that's in the past. Here is how we're going to take that and make it into something better. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it and you want to see more like this, make sure you subscribe because I post new videos every week, and I will see you all in the next review.